What's good, y'all? Look. Tonight, this is an impromptu video, and what I really wanted to talk about is don't let anybody trick you out your position, right? And why do I say this? Mainly because I got a young guy, right? Not necessarily up under my supervision, but who comes to me about a lot of things when he needed advice and things like that. And today we were talking, and he was saying that well, basically we have a lot of talks, right? We have a lot of back and forth, a lot of talk, a lot of challenging thoughts, a lot of differences of opinions. And he's a lot younger than me, right? I'm 32, he's about 20, so a big age difference, right? A big age difference. And the biggest thing for him was when he first got into this world that we're in. His biggest thing was, I don't like this. Or like a lot of young guys, think like, I don't want to be told what to do. I want to determine my own schedule. I want to determine this. I want to have power. I want to have control over my life and things like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I heard a great saying from somebody. Not that I necessarily agree with, but for a lot of people I do agree with. And it went a little something like, you gotta kiss a lot of butt before you can kick butt. Right? Saying it in the nicest way possible. And his biggest thing was like, hey man, he came to me today and he was like, hey, I ain't gonna lie, like, um, I'm seeing things different now. I'm thinking different now. And I was like, well, why you say that? He was like, well, I spent some time at home and I talked to a lot of people, and I really went back through my situation and I looked at things objectively, and playing devil's advocate like I usually do. I'm picking his brain, but this young man tells me like I went back home and it wasn't sweet, right? And that was my biggest thing, trying to guide him along his journey. That was my biggest thing guiding him along this journey was like let's be honest, man. Like I'm gonna drop the facade. I'm gonna drop all the acting, and let's be honest here. Like in this world, in a lot of worlds, right? There are going to be people who are going to not like certain aspects of it. They may not like the whole thing as a whole, but this is what irks me when they let that spirit, right? The spirit of doubt, the spirit of fear, the spirit of hatred, when they let that infiltrate their being and they try to project that onto other people, right? That's when I start getting annoyed. And this what I was telling this young man, like, for us, for young men like us, this is the best place you can be right now. I don't have no regrets, but for where I'm at now, the only thing that I wish I could go back and do different is I wish I had started younger, right? And the things that I had started younger, I wish I had stayed on my own path and I had kept going with my own mindset and what I knew my strengths and weaknesses were, and I would have just followed that all the way out. So I'm giving this young man game on kind of how to navigate through this thing at a young age, right? Seeing like really I get to replay and look at myself through this young guy and saying if I was in your position, if I was in the spot that you're in right now, these are the things that I would do. These are the actions that I would take, right? So going back to what I'm saying, not letting somebody trick you out your position. Now it's going to be people who in the same world as you in, and things may not be working out for them, or they handle things in a ineffective way, an inefficient way, and they're going to try to deter you from what your goal is or from what you're trying to do. And that's what I'll be telling this young man. Like, don't let anybody trick you out that spot, right? It's gonna be a lot of negative talk, right? I'm sure we all hear a lot of that all the time. It's gonna be a lot of negative self talk, right? We all go through that as well. But the thing is, you have to, I always say, reverse engineer. And then what you have to do is look at now and look at the outside world. And I don't like to compare, but you have to make a comparison sometimes, right? You have to make a comparison. Look at the economy. Look at the job market. Look at your skills. Look at your capabilities. Look at the benefits that you have versus what other people have. And then you look deep inside and you say, okay, I don't like A, B, and C about the predicament I'm in, but how can I take that and use it to my advantage, right? Um, the people of the book always say, let use your enemies as your footstool, right? And it may not necessarily be an enemy, but it may be a circumstance, right? And that's what I always try to look at. And my biggest thing was growing up, especially around certain individuals or around certain crowds, around certain mentalities. My thing was I always want to be the exception. Okay. And if I can't be the exception, I always want the benefit of the doubt. Right. So yes, I'm gonna put 2.5 times the amount of work as everybody else because I may only get half back. Right. If you like me, then you understand that saying. If you grew up how I grew up, then you understand that saying. If you from our community, then you understand that saying. But this is what I'm telling the young man, right? Don't worry about what they saying out there. Don't worry about what these people who in the same thing that you in or in similar circumstances and it's not working out for them the way you wanted to work out for you. Don't pay attention to that, man, because what that's going to do is it's going to trick you out your position. It's going to trick you out your spot. And then you know what happens? That negative self-talk comes in. That negative outwards talk, it creeps in and then it start making you doubt. It start making you look at things different. You get a negative perspective about the way things are instead of how can I make this work for me? That's always my thing. How do I shape this situation and make it work in my favor, right? Even if I don't like the way things are going, even if I don't like the way I'm being treated, even if I don't like necessarily the circumstance that I'm in, how can I use this for my benefit? Because right now it's not forever, right? I make it a big deal to never let someone trick me out of my position. And that's what I'm trying to get this young man to understand. But I think he spent some time, back where he's from, going home, and he's starting to see what I'm saying. I tell you a lot of things, but I never tell you a lie, right? It may be harsh the way I come off, man. I'm from a different place. I was raised different. I was raised hard. So what I'm saying to you, it may not be digestible at first, but one thing I can guarantee you, I never tell you a lie, bro. Never in my life. Because I've been in your position. I've seen things the way that you see things. I had a skewed vision before. I've had a narrow vision before. And not in a positive way, in a negative light, right? So I'm trying to shed light and drop some gems and provide this young man some game to where I can give you an advantage, right? I believe that like just me um growing up where I grew up and being born the way I was and having being raised a certain way and having certain circumstances provided for me. I believe that was an advantage, and I even tell my kids this all the time, like my goal is to give you that advantage, right? I feel like fitness, if you stay on top of your fitness, that's an advantage in life. If you stay on top of your academics, that's an advantage in life. Yeah, everybody has all these things, but once you have a very good balance and you master a few of these things, I feel like that gives you an advantage, a competitive advantage, right? In the market, in life. So that's what I'm telling this young man. I'm trying to get him to understand all these things. But I know a lot of times you could be around the wrong people. It's very hard. It's very hard. I'm not gonna lie. To cultivate an environment where everybody has the same mindset, everybody has the same intentions, the same goals is dang near impossible. But within that, what you have to do is be so strong, so headstrong, so determined to achieve your goal and seek that outcome that you want, right? That that never creeps in and affects you in a negative way, right? My biggest thing is to this young man, never letting them trick you out your position. Okay? Because make no mistake about it, things can look bad on the outside. And whatever water whatever grass that you water, it grow. Whatever you give your energy and your focus to, that's what's going to expand in your life, right? So expand on the positive. I'm pretty sure I can go down a whole list of stuff right now about things I don't like, things I want to change, how things should be better. But my biggest thing is people always look at the way things should be instead of the way they are. And I feel like that's where we fall short a lot of times in society. Oh, it shouldn't be this way. It should be that way. Oh, it shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be that way. Well, you not in charge. You not in power. So what you gonna do about it? You gonna keep telling somebody, oh, it shouldn't be like this. It should be like, oh, you gonna go and make the change and be the change you want to see, right? I know it sounds cliche, like some like motivational talk, but I really live like this. If I don't like what's going on in the community, I purposely put myself in that community to be that beacon of light to where I feel like I can change things. That might be a downfall for me. Me thinking I can change people and I can be that flame that sparks a fire to change stuff. That might be a problem. But that's what I believe. I believe if I work hard enough and I become a great enough example and I create enough influence that I could go somewhere and I could change the thoughts and habits of people. Right? I may not be doing it individually, but on a grand scheme, on a mass level, yes, I think I could do that. I believe that much in myself. I feel like I have that conquering capability about myself and not in a negative light, right? So that's what I'm telling this young man. Use all these things as a tool to build yourself up, right? And the more tools that you accumulate over time, use all these things to start building and crafting a solid foundation in your life. And once you create that foundation, now start building vertically, right? Because you got that solid foundation and there's nowhere to go from the bottom but up. So I say all that to say to this young man, like, I'm proud of him. And the things that I say a lot of times to a lot of people, yes, it's harsh. Yes, it sounds bad at first. Yes, I'm hard on them. Yes, I'm always with my foot up there, you know what, all the time. But it's for good reasons, right? And I admire young men like this who are able to eat the meat and spit out the bones, right? Pause. But I respect that a lot about these young men who I'm often giving this type of game to because I'm just like y'all, but I really want y'all to succeed, man. I really want y'all to be better than us, better than your forefathers, better than our ancestors, right? They fought and they sacrificed a lot for us to have these privileges and for us to be here and to be able to do these things. Don't take that for granted because it's a lot of people out here playing and having fun, man, but life's serious. Life for real. A lot of people out here just willy nilly moving any kind of way, and that like it come back to bite them in the end. But I'm telling you, if I was in your position and I had your youth, right, with the knowledge and the experience that I have now, these are the things that I would do and it makes me feel good. That might be a little selfish part about me, but it makes me feel good to go out and see this young man implement these things that I'm teaching him, right? And it makes me feel even better for him within himself to go back and have his own experience to say, like, I've seen the example of what not to do. I've seen the example of what not to be, and I don't want to be that. So yeah, I could stick it out in this little thing a little bit longer. Yeah, it might be hard. The journey might be long. It may feel detrimental right now. It may feel damning. It may feel like the world is on my shoulders. It feel overwhelming. But that's just momentarily. Like that's just temporary, right? You know what I'm saying? So ultimately, that's all I'm telling you guys. Like, even though things could seem bad, man, I know it sounds cliche. It could always be worse. And ultimately, and really my main message about all this is just don't let nobody trick you out your spot because it's not working out for them because it didn't happen for them like they wanted it to happen, right? Don't let anybody do that to you because what's going to happen is you're going to get older, you're going to look back in life and you're going to see somebody doing that exact same thing and they're succeeding in it and you're going to be like, dang, I could have been that if I just stuck with it. Or dang, I could have been doing that if I had just not listened to them voices. If I had just not let them negative that negative self talk or negative outwards talk. If I had just never let that creep in, I could have been that. I don't want that for y'all. Seriously, I don't. It sound cliche. It sound like, oh, he just preaching. I don't care what it sound like. You gonna remember this talk. You are. But yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all tonight. Some smooth, some simple, some easy. Like, don't let nobody trick you out your spot. Right? Count your blessings. Be thankful for the things that you have. Be thankful for where you are. Even if it's not the best, man, make the best out of it. Right? And that's all I'm gonna say, y'all. I'm out.